Ysan Roche appeared in magazines just as Minnie Mouse Germany at the age of 12 and had a professional modeling career starting at age 17. She also co-founded the modeling agency Splendide in Berlin and holds diplomas in acting, stage performance, and music production. Between 2006 and 2007, Ysan Roche began working on a concept and stage persona that combined music, fashion, film, and social commentary. She aimed to create the female David Bowie. In her performances, she was switching genders and was experimenting with identities, calling it her 7 different personas: the lady, the little girl, the alien, the intellectual woman, the dark side, the anarchist, the insanity. She was inspired by Picabio's The Beautiful Monster, which led to her first song Beautiful Monster, recorded at Freibad Studios in Munich in 2007. In Vienna, Ysan met Christoph Rucker, a music industry professional known for having managed David Bowie. After reviewing her script and creative material, Christoph likely sent her celebrity concept and persona documentation to key contacts in New York, where he had significant connections. He offered to promote her as an over-sexualized Madonna figure who should be promoting promiscuity to young girls, but Ysan refused. This was not her message at all. At the same time, Ysan also had contact with Marina Abramovic on her MySpace account, who sent her daily messages, "Just as I love you baby to I'm your biggest fan." She later became suspicious of her and blocked her. Marina also copied a few things later after Ysan realized she was a close friend of Lady Gaga. Ysan introduced herself as a lady and a freak, which resulted into the name Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga came out shortly after Ysan handed her concept to Rucker. At that time, she had only taken a few parts from Ysan's profile, but as soon as Roisin Murphy accused her of plagiarism, Gaga abandoned that identity and completely took over Ysan's. She also mentioned on the German show Wetter Das that she was inspired by German goth artists. Ysan Roche is German and was falsely accused to be goth because she used goth elements in her presentation and music. Lady Gaga's album title became The Fame Monster. Ysan was The Beautiful Monster. This marked a turning point. Prior to this release, Gaga had received heavy industry support, but was not yet widely embraced by the public. Her style and presentation were often criticized as derivative or incoherent. However, with the release of The Fame Monster, her career skyrocketed, and public perception shifted dramatically, and she became the most iconic in the industry. Instead of feeling threatened, Ysan recognized something essential. If they copied it, it means it works. It was the ultimate confirmation. Her artistic concept, the blueprint for a multi-dimensional global star, inspired by the legacy of Bowie but entirely feminine and future-driven, was effective. This realization marked the birth of the celebrity brand Ysan Roche LLC, a company founded by Ingrid Lorenzio, not as a social media brand but as a celebrity platform, a structure designed to house a visionary artist with staying power. She first launched in New York, bringing with her a personal investment of $100,000 USD, self-funded. She created a promotional campaign that lit up the city's underground and boutique media scenes. The resonance was immediate. Producers, stylists, and artists began reaching out. Her persona, her story, her image, it stood apart. At this time, she also began initiating legal steps against Lady Gaga, who now had entirely taken over her style of music and persona. Suddenly, a white smoke campaign was pushed to the public about a girl named Lena Morgana, which accused Lady Gaga of plagiarism to deflect from Ysan's case. This story was heavily promoted by her team when she was starting to speak out, although Lena barely has similar material to compare to Gaga. The last name, Morgana, is linked to occultism. Despite the strength of her company, $100,000 investment, her E2 visa was unexpectedly denied. She decided to build her company in London, where she formed high-level alliances with public relations firms such as Lander PR and Big Machine Media, securing press placements, public radio plays, and performances on festivals. Interscope launched a new artist which imitated Ysan's diva lady persona, Lana Del Rey. Lady Gaga and Lana Del Rey had taken over her music style at this point, and kept imitating her style and concepts. Lana took over her music short film concept. Gaga took over the network Ysan had planned, just as her two different heels idea, which she even launched at the Dorchester Hotel, right by the apartment in Mayfair, where Ysan used to live at the same time. Her PAs and friends were witnesses. It was during this stage that an individual named Ian R. entered the picture. He studied at Harvard and had connections to the Cannes Film Festival and other names in the industry. It became apparent, though, that Ian hadn't been sent to help but to sabotage. He set up a performance at Stade France and shut down his phone when Ysan tried to reach him, leaving her without a sound engineer at the last minute, and an entire team of stylists and dancers right before the performance. These incidences multiplied, so Ysan fired him, which led to threats and anger from Ian. At the same time, new celebrities appeared which seemed to mirror Ysan's identity. Porcelain Black and Maria Brink. Most were closely connected to Interscope and were producing with the same producer, Red One. However, after she distanced herself from Ian Roberts, a month later Ysan was physically assaulted by a man and accused to have caused the injuries in court herself, although the police had picked her up at the location and photographed the bruises immediately. Although Ysan had a higher social standing than that individual at that time, she was labeled untrustworthy in court for speaking out publicly against the plagiarism of Lady Gaga. Out of shock, Ysan abandoned her public life and moved to Monte Carlo, where she was living a life out of the public eye. But to her shock, she realized the attacks seemed to be more personal, and she still wasn't left alone. Lady Gaga especially now started to copy her real-life identity, also suddenly began to move on to acting classes. Ysan has an acting diploma. The harassment didn't stop. Hacking attacks on her computer, which left her with tens of thousands of dollars in damage, occurred several times throughout her career. Business plans, which she had hidden from the public, appeared in mostly Lady Gaga's presentation, but later also Lana Del Rey's. When Ysan moved to Asia, hoping for a peaceful life, Interscope started to build up the band Blackpink. Ysan's music label was Black Yellow Pop, and had them collaborate with Lady Gaga. This certainly sounded crazy to almost everyone. Why did they have this enormous interest in her? Due to the ongoing harassment. Ysan suffered from chronic illness, just as ongoing fatigue starting in 2015, and was also talking to a psychologist in Germany who confirmed that she was not mentally ill but harassed by high-level individuals. Today she is healthy again. Just recently, Lady Gaga copied almost everything new Ysan did for her album Mayhem, and released a song in which she mocks a woman about her disease, chasing her around in a white car. Ysan drives a white car. Lady Gaga sings, "We're all alone now, nobody's here to help." It is time that the story comes to light, as other individuals, just as Alejandro C., have spoken out in these crimes as early as 2009, and nothing has been done yet. Ysan wants to press charges for the ongoing massive plagiarism of her work, and the technological and psychological harassment which caused financial and reputational damages, and severe psychological distress over years.